the reality of it is this isn't my income stream. And so I get that people do what they got to do when this is their job. That's your job. I get it. So I respect the hustle and there's no shame in that. But I think it's important for us to know what we get into and be aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it and how sometimes these tools can be playing us. I've noticed something. Okay. The artist to YouTube coach. And it's like, are we going to say YouTube coach pipeline? Because it's like, it's not always like YouTube. It could just be like a coach in general. Like what? Okay. And let me give some disclaimers. I feel like I got to give some disclaimers for a lot of this. Do I though? Do I? Like whatever. Okay. I think whoever watching this, that's your business. Okay. However you want to take certain things, that's your business. But it is my business to be able to add as much clarity as I can. And so one of the things that I want to say is that I don't think that there's anything wrong at all with being a coach, a life coach, a creative coach, a YouTube coach, somebody who's helping, who's sharing information in general. First of all, I watch those videos. They're helpful for me. They have helped me on my journey as an artist and as a creator. So I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think, okay, so let me give context on why I'm even talking on this and why I'm even sharing this. The goal is to help somebody out there. Okay. This is always the goal whenever I'm just like, well, one on a Gemini diary, it just be a brain dump. But in my brain dumping, okay, it be me helping myself or me saying the things that like I wish that I heard because I genuinely listen back to these notes for myself. But anywho, okay, so I feel like there's a lot of artists out there who are artists who want to share their work, who want to share their message with the world. That's wonderful and beautiful. Of course, we have all felt some type of way about Instagram for a while. We all know what's going on with TikTok. Like, it's just a journey, right? So I have been seeing that more artists have been coming over here to YouTube, which is wonderful and beautiful. Clearly, I'm over here at YouTube, okay? The thing is, I've been on YouTube now. We're entering the 5th year, which is like so exciting. It's crazy to think, but I started my channel in 2020. Now my main channel, that's A.O. Hamer, the artist. This is like my little second B channel. And I remember thinking that I wanted to have these conversations like the one that I'm having right now on my main channel, but I knew how the YouTube algorithm works. And I knew that if I talked about certain things and if those videos did really well on my channel, they would attract a certain type of viewer. And that is 100% what happens for videos that are like business orientated, advice orientated, life coach information, entrepreneurship info, how to grow your channel on YouTube type of information. And clearly, I think it's obvious, like, especially if you've been around for a while, it's obvious that social media and YouTube is something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I'm interested in, and it's something that I follow very closely. So I think the last video I was talking about the TikTok ban, which was really interesting to see, but I'm really interested in media, and I'm interested how we consume media as a culture. And I'm interested about how media and culture affects our behavior, you know? And I like to be aware of that because I know that as I'm observing the world as this viewer, as this out of body witness, you know, I'm also a participant of this world and human experience. So it's like I'm subject to the same things that I'm saying that I'm quote unquote like dissecting, you know what I mean? And so a lot of it is an introspection for myself. Like, where am I falling prey to similar things? Okay, so this takes me back to the artist to YouTube coach pipeline. This is interesting. YouTube is such an interesting platform because I guess it's similar to many platforms in a way, but I feel like YouTube is particularly interesting because people are on this platform, you know, trying to learn or get entertainment or whatever. But specifically for people who are trying to start a YouTube channel, they are a specific breed of people. Okay. And I know this because I am that person. And I was that type of person who, like, when you're trying to start your channel, you researching everything, you searching this, you looking for tips on how to grow, how to get views, you searching up, what's it, YouTube cameras, and you looking at all the reviews, you on Think Media, you on Nick Nimit's channel, you on the vidIQ channel, you on Roberto Blake's channel, you're on all their channels. You know what I mean? Because I was too, you know, and I still check in every now and again when I need like a little confidence boost to like get back to editing, which is funny because I'm behind on editing on the main channel, but like these be easy because I could just like chat, and it's like, here I am doing like quote unquote easy content, which is me running my nickel ass mouth. Okay. But whatever, that's the interesting thing, because as I talk about the sort of artist to YouTube coach pipeline, as an artist and a content creator, I see which one takes more energy. You know, I see which one takes more energy, and I also see which one gets more output, you know? And so I had a video on this channel, the Gemini Diary, talking about stop taking advice from the internet. And now I was so close, and I actually recorded that video in my studio. I was so close to uploading that video on my main channel, but I knew that sort of topic in general would get a lot of views. So I put it on this channel, and that video got, I think it's at like 15,000 views, which this channel here only has 1,000 subscribers. So that's good in the context of my subscriber to view ratio. Okay. And so I knew that video would do fairly well, because I'm talking about sort of like business. I'm talking about advice. I'm giving advice, you know, I'm sort of adding value in that direct way, especially for people who are trying to grow a business, trying to grow a channel. And those are a specific type of people who are, we're almost like desperate for knowledge. You know, like we almost are like craving knowledge. We're trying to find the tips. We're trying to find the hacks. Like we are this is sad that I even say this. We're almost the perfect prey. And it's real. Like when I think about that, I'm like, damn, you know? And so I like to shine light on certain things so that people can be aware certain patterns that they can fall into. And sometimes it's like we aren't even aware of it. You know, so many of these things can happen unconsciously over time, where you just find yourself falling into this pattern, into this rhythm. And then next thing you look up and you're like, damn, how did I become a YouTube advice channel? Like I wanted to do travel vlogs. Like what are we talking about? You know? And it's interesting that I say that, because there is a specific creator who even openly talked about that on her channel. And that's a whole nother side note. Also, I feel like at the time of recording this, we are in the new year. Okay. It's 2025. So a lot of the things have simmered down from a bit of the art community drama that was going on, with Kelsey Rodriguez and that other person, who was sharing like YouTube is a MLM. I have a lot of different feelings on it. This isn't my place to share those. And honestly, it doesn't even matter. But I think that there is something to be said about, well, now that I think about it, I did talk about it in my last video where I said stop taking advice from internet. There is something to be said about taking advice from people who aren't doing exactly what you want to do, you know? So it's like if you are watching a YouTube advice video, but you want to be vlogging, then that might not be the person that you want to take advice from if you aren't able to mirror their type of success. You know what I mean? Especially if you aren't trying to do what they're doing. So I see how we can fall into these traps of creating certain type of content that has been fed to us because we've seen that person have growth. We've seen their numbers. We've seen their views. So we're like, okay, we're going to replicate that. We're going to do what they're doing. Let me start talking about YouTube, because the other thing is like YouTube, it's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like, this is why I'm even having this conversation, because I'm just like, man, now that I've been behind the scenes on this stuff, I'm just seeing so much more of how the machinery works and how the mechanics work. And so I want people to know this stuff so that like, if they are starting a channel or if they are trying to do certain things, like you can know some of this and you can sort of either stop yourself or be aware or directly lean in, you know, because at the end of the day, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. You know, I think that's I did write some notes. Okay. She got a few little notes on the Post-it. So I'm just going to like take my time on this because I do feel like there's a lot to unpack. There's so many different layers to it. And I also I want to use this as a tool for myself as well, so that I can play this back whenever whenever I find myself falling into the trap. Okay, let me give you a little context. If you are not familiar with me or what I do, I'm Aramis. I'm a full-time artist, okay, working and living in Seattle, Washington. I create large-scale, colorful cosmic queens. These are one of my paintings that is behind me, and I've been sharing my journey on YouTube for the past 5 years. I've been sharing my journey on Instagram for the past 10 years, and that's just about how long I have been doing my creative career is 10 years. And so I've seen the different iterations of things, that I'm also seeing within myself how I'm needing to pivot certain things from the decline of Instagram's organic reach, from the banned and now rebirth and changes to TikTok, from the pandemic that had us all in the house, and I was getting a lot of my income from in-person events in Seattle. Now I'm going back to in-person events, which is a phenomenal tool. Like, I think that this is, I don't have to keep saying that this is a reminder for me, like whatever, we know what it is. Okay. But this is a reminder for me that sometimes, I know just during the pandemic, I had shifted all online. A lot of us did. We kind of had to. We had no choice. But now that the world is opening back up, I'm reminding myself, like, okay, the world is opening back up. So here's an opportunity for you to reactivate different income streams that you actually once lost, especially now that these online platforms do feel different and they've changed a lot, and there is a lot more saturation. I used to not really, quote unquote, believe in saturation. I was like, oh, whatever, there's more than enough for us. It's like the world is abundant. The world is abundant, and I think there is more than enough room for us. But I think there is something to be said about when there is an increased quantity of people who come to us. But I mean, that's just like anything, right? Like, whenever I sort of have ideas about the internet, I like to bring it back to the physical world. So it's like, if you had a coffee shop on one block and you were the only coffee shop within a 5-mile radius, then of course your coffee shop gonna be popping. It's gonna be, you're gonna have lines every day. It's just gonna be insane, like, because you are the only coffee shop in town. But now when they add another coffee shop, or if somebody else moves in and now somebody else moves in and somebody else, and now you go from one coffee shop within a 5-mile radius to now possibly 5 or 10, you are going to significantly see a decrease in the amount of customers. That just is what it is. That's genuinely basic economics. That's basic supply and demand. Okay. But I think where we can get into a position where we're not even worried about saturation, or like, oh, I'm competing with other coffee shops. It's like, no, you aren't competing when you're the best. Okay. Like, if at the end of the day, 5 other coffee shops move into your area, but they have shitty coffee and you know that your coffee is the best, it's like, okay, well, whatever. I'm not even worried about them, because I know the quality of what I'm bringing is excellent, And so I think I'm trying to tell myself that as well. Like, okay, well, it doesn't matter how many people are doing whatever. If you are carving out your own space, then there literally is no competition, And if you have something of value and, have something like quality content, wherever, it don't matter how many people are doing what, they just aren't even in your lane. Like, genuinely. And I don't know, like, fully yourself type stuff, but just on the reality of it, that, so it is a reminder for me that, okay, yeah, there's more people doing different things, but that's when it comes to the fact that you need to raise the bar with whatever you're doing, wherever you want to do it, raise the bar, And so for me, I'm trying to realize, like, okay, whatever I'm doing is going to require for me to raise the bar and have a level of excellence that just distinguishes me from everybody else. Where do I want to raise the bar at? Because the reality of it is, you can't raise the bar in every single area of your life. Like, I'm just getting to the point in life where I'm just being real, just radically honest with myself and radically accepting everything in my life, you know? And so we can want to manifest all day. We can want to think different things all day. But at the end of the day, you can't plant certain things in the winter because it's genuinely just not the season. And that's just literally not how the physics of things work, you know? And so I try to ground myself and root myself and balance my magical manifestation mindset, which I love, but I root it in the practicality of like, okay, it's still going to take some discipline and some effort and some energy and some work. So where do you want that work to be? How do you want to distinguish yourself? And also, why are you doing certain things that you're doing? And so this brings me back to the artist to YouTube coach pipeline. So I think to myself, when I see some of this happening, whenever I see this, it makes me think like, okay, maybe this person is doing this to attract an audience, to get more views, to get more subscribers because they've seen a certain type of video work. For example, we see, of course, on TikTok, it's massive copycat culture, but YouTube is the king daddy of the copycat culture, okay? Like with the, YouTube changed my life with less than however many subscribers. Like we've seen the videos, okay? And it'd be so funny. Like the YouTube algorithm is so funny because like if you watch any of those, even if you don't watch the videos, because now I've gotten wise of where I've gotten wise. That's hilarious. I was in school to the game. Certain things I won't even click. I won't even watch. I don't want to open it. I will literally click those 3 little dots and say not interested. Okay. Hide, remove. I do not want to see it, but YouTube will do its own thing. And so I realized that I had to do that because they'll sort of keep serving you. There's certain videos on the platform that are like going viral for certain channels. And that's great for them. Like I'll be like, oh, cool. This is a new, YouTuber. Who is this? Okay, great. Like I see that this video is taking off on their channel and YouTube is specifically putting that on my homepage. But the thing is, if I'm not interested in the video, I'm not going to watch the video. And also you aren't about to keep putting that, you aren't about to force feed me somebody's video if that is not of interest to me, And so what's interesting about those type of videos, like other content creators and other YouTube see that same experience where their homepage are being bombarded with certain type of videos. So they feel like, oh, well, let me go ahead and make that video. Like that type of video landed on my homepage. Let me do the same thing, And so it becomes this cycle where people are repeating the same content in the hopes of growing their channel, And so it makes me think. So my thing is like, if you genuinely want to become a coach, if you genuinely want to share advice with people, that is so wonderful and that is so beautiful. And I watch those videos. I will continue to watch those videos and I will continuously be grateful for those creators that share that type of information. But if people are creating those type of videos just to get an audience and then they're going to switch it up on them and like, well, and you can kind of see like they'll sort of try to go back to sharing their art and those videos aren't doing well. And so now they go back to just like sharing like YouTube type stuff. So it's like, we have to be careful where we aren't getting caught in some of these traps. But I also understand it though, because I want to be careful with my language because I don't feel like it's a trap per se. It can be a trap if it's happening to you unconsciously. Okay. I think that, everything doesn't have to be bad. To me, it's bad if you landed there and you didn't mean to. Okay, it's kind of like when you play pool and you like call your shot, you like, okay, 7, yellow 7, corner 8 pocket, corner pocket, whatever, So it's like when you hit that 7 colored, that yellow 7 ball, whatever, okay, messing up the whole analogy, but whatever. When you hit that ball and it goes into the corner left pocket, how you called it, it's like, ooh, yeah, okay, ooh, yeah. And now, but if you hit that ball and it goes into a different pocket, you still look, of course you still excited. You like, it still went in, but I didn't intend for it to go in that hole, but that's okay though. That's okay. It still went in, but it's not as big of a flex if it went into the pocket you called, right? And then if you hit that ball and it doesn't go in at all, okay, now you definitely feel like, well, damn, like I failed, like I didn't get it in at all. Okay. So those are 3 different scenarios with 3 different feelings, but both of them is where those balls end up successfully going in, So it's like, but if you intended to be a YouTube coach, great. Keep on doing it, But I think a lot of artists genuinely want to be artists, though. I think like a lot of artists genuinely want to share their art, but we can't help but see the success from people sharing different YouTube type stuff or how to make money type stuff or like different things is totally natural, it's totally natural. And so where I like to acknowledge my privilege in certain things, it's like, okay, yeah, I was doing what I was doing before YouTube, before social media was sort of taken off the way that it was taken off. And so I am in a privileged position where YouTube isn't really my like bread and butter. Like it's fun. Like it's genuinely fun. Like I'm like, first of all, I'm not even monetized on this channel. Second of all, my other channel, I barely make $100 a month on that channel. So I'm genuinely doing it for the love of the game. Okay. She doing YouTube for the love of the game at this point in her life. And it kind of just is what it is. And I have other streams outside of YouTube that make this work for me. Also, the reality is that I have the support of my partner. And so what I think that we don't acknowledge in the sort of artist space is the different privileges it takes in order to be an artist, or the different privileges it takes in order to wait the journey out for your blow up or glow up. Okay, we about to go there because I love going there all the time. Beyonce, if you're not new here, then welcome. Okay, welcome to the fact that I love Beyonce, period. Okay, period, point blank. I think she is the epitome of just success. Okay. Here's the reality though. I was actually about to pre-order Tina Knowles' book because who I really admire even more than Beyonce is Beyonce's mom. Okay, because I feel like we can be potentially, now I know everybody got different familial situations, but I feel like Beyonce is definitely, and Beyonce says this as well, but she's definitely who she is because of her mom and because of the support that she got from her family. And when we think about Beyonce's journey, she started before the age of 10. She didn't go to college. She says it. Her college, her school was Destiny's Child. Her college was traveling the world and life was her teacher. Okay. She literally says these words in the Homecoming album from her Coachella tour. Okay. The reality of it is that Beyonce had all of her time committed to the craft of being the pop star that she is. And she had the backing of her mom and dad to make it possible for her. She wasn't worried about paying her bills because her bills were already paid. She already had a foundation. She already had a support system. So when I see artists who go from an artist to the YouTube coach pipeline, I see that, they are trying to gain revenue. Like literally this is somebody who was trying to create a income stream, who's trying to create a business, because then of course different things lead from that, right? A course, a class, a workshop, a live stream, or like whatever, like a product comes from it. So now the audience members who are viewing that content become potential customers, okay? Which I think is a phenomenal and intelligent business strategy. Like I'm not coming at that. Like that actually makes perfect sense. But it shows a difference though. It shows when like, okay, the product isn't the art anymore. The product is now the information that this person is selling. And that's okay, And so I think there is something where we need to just be honest about what we're doing, why we're doing it, why certain people are doing certain things. At the same time, not assuming, because sometimes like you don't know what people got going on in their lives. You don't know why people are doing certain things, but I'm just realizing within myself like, oh, this is interesting. And also, how have we been influenced as artists? Where have we received our sense of our source of validation from, And in the social media space, I do see that we are, not all of us, right? I don't want to speak for you, okay? But we're just going to generalize here. Just take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I can see a pattern where we are taking our validation from the algorithm, from the amount of views that we have, from the subscribers that we have, from the amount of likes that we have, And it's an interesting thing as the world shifts to more online interaction and engagement. But I just want to be aware of when this happens, and I want to be aware and very intentional and very deliberate about where I'm going and why I want to be there and what is it going to take in order for me to get there, you know? And so, okay, here was the other note that I had, the privilege to be an artist. There's another, I love, clearly y'all know that I'm a YouTube girly, and I love, shout out to one of the subscribers who also said that she's a quote unquote YouTube girly. Love that for us. Okay. Because we are clearly, something just dropped down there. We are clearly the long format content babes, and I'm with that. Okay. Let's talk about the privilege it is to be an artist. I'm just about to go on a whole, we're not going to go too far on a tangent, but I watch, and I kind of slowed down on it a little bit, but before I used to watch a lot of it's kind of social commentary, things going on in the world, and celebrity culture and different things. I like to check in every now and again because it is interesting to me, because to me, different musicians and actors, you know, I would consider them artists, you know, so they are in a creative field. So I like to see what they up to, draw different lessons from them, see if there's any inspiration that I can get from their experience in their journey. And so there was a recent thing that came out about Ari Lennox. Ari Lennox is an R&B singer. Love her. I went to her concert out here in Seattle. I have vlogged it over there on the main channel. So I love Ari. She's been doing her thing for a while, and it's been a common narrative just throughout the Black culture and like throughout the sort of Ari fan zeitgeist that Ari doesn't get the love that she deserves or that she should get. Like she should be bigger, and so there's a lot of different reasons as to why people think this is. One of them is because of the label that she's with, or the group that she's with, Dreamville, which is like with J. Cole and everything. And so she came out recently saying that she wants to be dropped from her label. She's like, she doesn't want to be associated with them anymore. Like, she literally told people on her Instagram live that she's paying for her own Google ads. She's funding her own music videos. She's like, I'm out here working like an independent artist. So let me just be an independent artist then, because, you know, like being a part of this label, now y'all get a percentage of what I'm doing, but y'all aren't giving me the support that I need or that I should have as a signed artist, you know? So she's like, all right, if y'all gonna have me out here to dry, let me just be there and drop me from the label, you know? So that was a whole thing in the sort of like celebrity pop music, R&B music sector. And I thought that it was really interesting. And Ari talked about just being frustrated and just like feeling like I love Ari. Ari is the realest. Like, she is as real and as raw as they come. And she's also hilarious. Like, whenever she goes live on Instagram, I love it. I just be cracking up. Sometimes she don't even show her face. She'll just have a black screen and it'll just be her talking. And it's just so funny. And like, I think I even said in one of her Instagram lives, I'm like, girl, come on YouTube, okay? Like, these little random rants that you're doing, you could be monetized, okay? On my main channel, it be random rants. Your girl's monetized from just the hot gas that she's spewing out of her mouth, okay? But it's hilarious. I feel like Ari is just, she's such a gem. Y'all stay hydrated, drink your water. Take a second to drink your water, okay? So I just love Ari, okay? And so she was on Instagram live just like being real, saying how she owes the IRS, how she's broke. She even talked about like the mold in her house and like the mold man is coming. I was like, Ari, like, whoa, okay? Like, you keeping it real, like a little bit too real for us, okay? But she was just keeping it real and like letting us know, like, y'all, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. Like, she still just feel like she's waiting on her big break because she's just still struggling, you know? She's in this struggling artist space. And so when I think about, damn, this is kind of tough to even think about. I'm like, man, when I think about a Beyonce and like the things, all the access that Beyonce was afforded because of her parents, it's real. It allowed her to create the bodies of work that she has. It allowed her to stretch her mind and to be creative and to continuously produce work, even if it's not fully monetized in a way. She's like, okay, well, like, I'm good. I'm okay. And I'm going to get there eventually. You know, it's so funny. I think there's a quote of somebody who says something similar along these lines. I can't remember who it was, but it's essentially where they say, like, you either like success, being successful in the creative industry is like, how long can you hold out You know, how long can you hold out to make it to whatever you trying to make it to, you know? And when you are in a space of like where your art has to pay your bills, that puts you in a vulnerable position, because now you pivoting, you changing, you doing certain things only for that outcome of getting money. But the reality of it is a lot of us need to get money, you know, and that's okay. But I think this is why I think that everybody shouldn't be an artist. Like, everybody shouldn't be trying to make money from their art, because it is hard out here. It is hard out here, and it's real. And half of us, the people who are quote unquote making it, have support, have got partners, got husbands, got friends, got parents, got people who are still giving us some sort of safety net and giving us some sort of structure. And I really want to be real with that. And like, I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not like, oh, well, you know, I'm not a real artist if I'm not like, you know, making it 1,000% on my own. I think no artist in this world, no artist in history ever has made it 1,000% on their own. They had patrons, they had supporters, they had family members, they had wives. Frida, you need to watch her Frida documentary, okay? Her husband, his cheating ass, but whatever. He created a lot of foundation for her. We don't have to go there, but like, highly recommend that you watch a Frida Kahlo documentary. And so I just feel like there's so much false illusions out here about art, how artists are actually making it, and how art is truly funded out in these spaces. If you trying to fund your art from the algorithm, it's possible. Okay. Number one, it's totally possible. It's totally doable. But when that is your funding source, you have to play their game. And that's why you see a lot of artists playing their game of these algorithms in order to get the views and the subscribers, because there are certain type of videos that work well on these platforms. And that's just the reality of what it is, you know, like clearly you'll hear it from so many different artists, like, oh, their art videos don't do that well. That's hilarious. How long have I not been recorded on the video, whatever? But y'all know I always come back. If the video go out, then I come back and it be good. But yeah, it's just the reality of it is that, you know, if you do want the income stream to come from YouTube, then you are going to have to play YouTube's game. And that's okay, you know, but I just want to encourage artists that there's so many ways to get paid. There's so many different ways that you can do it, and there's so many different income streams. And so just be real honest with yourself. And I try to be real honest with myself. And I have another video on a channel where I talked about being being delusional or whatever. And it was me being delusional. It was me thinking like, oh, I'm about to do this like full-time YouTube thing. But the reality of it was, I was like, oh, I actually don't want to do this YouTube thing full-time, because I'm going to have to play their game if I'm going to have to do this full-time. I'm going to have to make certain videos. That's just it. Just is what it is. Okay. And the sooner that I lean into that truth, the sooner I see that, then the sooner I can get to doing what I want to do. Now, the reality of it is I'm realizing that I can do a little bit of a blend of the both. I can do, because I got a video coming out soon on the main channel where I'm going to do like another canvas video. Now, my canvas video on my main channel is, doing really well. It's always done well, and it does well in search. Like, people are searching for canvas tips, how to stretch a canvas roll, canvas fabric and stuff. So that video is one of my top earning videos over a long period of time, because people are constantly searching for that. My vloggy stuff, y'all know, like, people ain't really like searching for your vlog, you know, so that's not really gonna sustain you. But so in seeing that specific type of videos do well in search, I'm like, okay, let me just have a decent amount of search-based videos in my YouTube video catalog or in portfolio, so that those videos over time can draw people into the channel. I mean, and that just is what it is. So I can do one of those every now and again, just to keep new people coming into the channel, and those do really well, you know. And so then once I had that reality, I was like, okay, girl, well, if YouTube ain't gonna be it, it's time to put your shoes on, it's time to put your pants on, and it's time to get back out in them Seattle streets and do these events, do these pop-ups, paint these murals, do everything that you need to do in order to be the artist that you want to be, and where you can let the outcome of what you're doing be your art and not the content. Okay. Now, do I think content is art? Absolutely. Okay. As somebody who edits damn near on a daily, Editing is a creative art form, one that I love and that I thoroughly enjoy. And so I don't feel like, oh, content creator versus artist, like, oh, like content isn't art. I think content can genuinely be art, and they can be like interchangeable. Well, I don't know if they can be interchangeable. I think art can be content. I think art can be content, but content isn't always art, if that makes sense. Okay. So I feel like whenever I'm editing a video, it does take a lot of creative energy to storytell in a beautiful way, to curate different sounds and different music and different experiences, different emotions that I want the viewer to feel. And I love it. And I genuinely feel like it is an extension of my creative process. I genuinely feel like editing and making videos is an extension of my creative process. And I love it, and I'm going to keep doing it. But I just want to, I don't know, I just want to put this out into the zeitgeist. Like, I'm interested to see like what y'all think about it. Have y'all been seeing some of the different things? Like, it's just interesting. It's just really interesting. And I'm fascinated by all of this. I love diving into this world, but I think the more that we're in this world, the more that we are seeing the puppet strings, and the more we're seeing the illusions, and the more we're seeing, the thing is, the interesting thing that I realized, why YouTube is such a different beast than any other platform. There's so many different layers, but the one that I want to specifically hone in on, and what showed me that content creators can be just as addicted to numbers, or can be just as addicted to dopamine as the consumer, is whenever I look at the YouTube Studio analytics. YouTube gives you so many analytics and so much information on your viewers, your video, the watch duration, click-through rate, the CPMs, the RPMs. They are giving you so much information. And so with that, they're really giving you a formula. They're showing you exactly how to make the perfect video. Like they like, okay, well, this one didn't do too well. Try this next. This one, like they literally are like, all of that data is shifting you and guiding you and molding you to be within their box, to optimize the view duration, to optimize the click-through rate, to optimize so many different things. And I was like, oh, wow. I had to take a moment to step outside myself and realize like, oh, wow. Like, am I playing the game, or is the game playing me? Like, the game is straight up playing me. Okay. Not my fingers, knuckles popping. The game was straight up playing me. And I said, hold on. No. Okay. I will never be played. Okay. It's important for me to stay aware, to stay present, to be a conscious consumer and a conscious creator. In the same way they doing a little dopamine fix for the consumer, and we thinking like, oh, doom scrolling. No, some of your favorite content creators are just as addicted to their analytics, their likes, their views, their whatever. And they are literally pivoted and shifted and like going with the blowing of the wind based on whatever those numbers show us on a weekly or video based. Like whenever we upload, we are just being shifted and moved. I'm like, enough. You will not have this control over what I create. But in order to do that, I have to take away you being my primary source of financial income, because it's very difficult. It's like, I can say that all day. Like, oh, you ain't about to control me. I'm about to upload with whatever I want to upload. Da, 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 da. But the reality of it is, this is my income stream. And so I get that people do what they got to do when this is their job. That's your job. I get it. So I respect the hustle, and there's no shame in that. But I think it's important for us to know what we get into and be aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it, and how sometimes these tools can be playing us. And as the AI and the technology as all these things grow and get bigger and just really become such a mainstream element in our life, we're going to have to be even more diligent to take control of our mindset, to take control of our time, to take control of what we're consuming and what we are putting out into the world as well. Your girl is going on a whole, it's recording. Okay, cool. She didn't talk long enough. Okay. She didn't talk long enough. She didn't went on a whole rant, but yeah, y'all, I just want us to be aware out here. Okay. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. It's always fun chatting over here, having my little beat channel, like It's cute. So I know I see some of y'all from the main channel be over here, and I love that. Okay. If you watch my main channel, let me know. I would love to say hey to y'all over here. And I'm just so grateful that y'all watch me on both channels. But yeah, and also like let me know, are you starting your channel? Like, why are you watching this? Are you interested? Like, are you a content creator? Are you like, let me know. But sending y'all all my love, and I hope you continue to be a conscious consumer and creator of content. Okay. Peace out.